If you remember the headlines from last year, the Cincinnati Bengals were pushing a $1.25 billion renovation plan for their home at Paycor Stadium. Fast forward to today, and that proposal has dramatically shrunk to around $470 million. But the story doesn't end there. A new development could potentially push the total investment back up to more than $830 million, possibly even beyond $937 million. So, how did the Bengals stadium plan swing from $1.25 billion down to $430 million? And why could it suddenly grow again? In today's episode, we'll walk through the timeline of the proposal, break down the different versions of the renovation plan, and explain what new development could expand the project once more and the major obstacle that might stop it from happening. The stadium debate surrounding the Cincinnati Bengals and Paycor Stadium has shifted dramatically over the past 2 years. What began as a billion-dollar transformation has since been scaled down, renegotiated, and potentially expanded again, depending on future funding. The story began on the 17th of September 2024, when Hamilton County and design firm MSA Design unveiled an ambitious $1.25 billion master plan. The proposal envisioned a full transformation of the stadium campus along the Ohio River. It included major structural upgrades to the stadium, a brand new team headquarters and training complex, and extensive redevelopment of the surrounding riverfront district. At the time, negotiations were intensifying because the Bengals' lease at Paycor Stadium was set to expire in 2026, putting pressure on both sides to reach a long-term solution. The next major turning point came in late April 2025, when Hamilton County and the Bengals signed a memorandum of understanding outlining a much smaller $830 million phase renovation plan. Instead of a full redevelopment, the project would be divided into 4 phases, running from 2026 through roughly 2028 or 2029. The first phase, worth about $185 million, was immediately approved so work could begin quickly. One of the biggest changes was the elimination of the proposed training headquarters entirely. Under this framework, the Bengals committed $120 million, while Hamilton County planned to seek additional financial assistance from the state of Ohio. Just 2 months later, the proposal was scaled down again. On the 26th of June 2025, officials reached a tentative agreement for an even smaller $470 million renovation plan, paired with an 11-year lease extension that would keep the Bengals in Cincinnati until at least June 2036, with options that could extend the agreement to 2046. Importantly, this version of the deal did not require state funding, making it easier for the county to move forward. So what exactly changed between these versions? The difference between the original proposal and the current deal is dramatic. The $1.25 billion concept unveiled in 2024 was essentially a full campus transformation around Paycor Stadium, while the $470 million plan approved in 2025 focuses almost entirely on upgrading the existing stadium itself. The biggest cuts came from the surrounding development and large structural additions. The original proposal included a brand new team headquarters and training complex for the Cincinnati Bengals, complete with an indoor practice facility, offices, and outdoor training fields with seating. That entire component was removed in the final agreement. Also eliminated were major riverfront redevelopment ideas, such as creating more than 20 acres of new park space and building a large pedestrian corridor with multiple public plazas along the waterfront. Large-scale stadium structural changes were also dropped. The original concept envisioned a complete rebuild of the north end zone, featuring a massive video board and a new VIP club area. Plans also called for expanding the south end zone with a second seating tier and a party deck, along with large digital screens mounted on the stadium's exterior facade. None of those major construction elements remain in the approved version. Instead, the current $470 million renovation plan focuses on improving the fan experience inside the stadium. The project includes expanded club lounges and luxury suites, upgraded concessions and restrooms, wider concourses, improved accessibility with new elevators and escalators, ADA compliance improvements, electrical and power system upgrades, and updated video and broadcast technology. Some smaller plazas and exterior improvements are still included, but only as minor enhancements rather than full redevelopment. The project is already under construction at the beginning of this year. But the story might not end with the $470 million renovation. In fact, recent developments suggest the project could grow again, potentially pushing the total investment back toward the $830 million budget and even past $900 million. The reason has less to do with Cincinnati itself and more with a broader shift happening across the NFL, involving stadium funding strategies and a situation currently unfolding with the Chicago Bears. That development could reopen the door for additional upgrades at Paycor Stadium, but it also introduces a new obstacle that could complicate the Bengals' plans moving forward. Just when the Cincinnati Bengals appeared settled with their $470 million renovation plan for Paycor Stadium, a new opportunity suddenly emerged. But it also comes with serious uncertainty. The situation began when the state of Ohio created a $1 billion funding pool drawn from unclaimed funds, money collected from forgotten bank accounts, uncashed checks, and similar sources. Lawmakers approved the idea of redirecting some of that money towards sports facility construction and renovation across the state. However, a large portion of that pot is already spoken for. The state committed $600 million to the new domed stadium for the Cleveland Browns in Brook Park, leaving roughly $400 million available for every other team and sports facility in Ohio. And the Bengals are far from the only group trying to secure that remaining funding. More than 22 organizations have submitted requests totaling nearly $689 million, creating intense competition for the remaining funds. Among those applications is Hamilton County's request for $234 million for the Bengals. If that funding is approved, it would be added on top of the already approved $470 renovation, pushing the overall investment to roughly $937 million. That new proposal would go well beyond the current renovation scope. Instead of simply upgrading existing stadium infrastructure, the expanded funding could introduce more premium seating, upgraded clubs, enhanced technology, improved gathering spaces, and broader fan amenities throughout Paycor Stadium. However, the plan is far from guaranteed. A lawsuit filed by Democratic lawmakers argues that using the state's unclaimed funds for stadium projects may violate both state and federal constitutional rules. A Franklin County judge has already issued a temporary block, delaying any decisions on how the money can be distributed. Until that legal battle is resolved, the Bengals, along with every other team competing for the funds, remain stuck in limbo. With lawsuits blocking the state's funding program and more than 20 other sports organizations competing for the same money, the Bengals' larger vision remains uncertain. For now, the only sure thing is the work already happening. Everything else depends on the courts, the state, and whether Cincinnati can secure its share of Ohio's billion-dollar stadium fund. And that's it for today, folks. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, and we will see you next time.